For 7 weeks, the man sitting next to me has suffered humiliation after humiliation. For 7 weeks, he has been called out on this show for his near-embarrassing performance picking college football winners. But this week, there is something different in the air here on Brad Carroll's Game Day. For the first time in 7 weeks, Anthony has emerged from the purgatory that is Loser Island.
You guys may remember last week I said I had been on Loser Island for so long that I was just going to sit back, relax, and enjoy what Loser Island had to provide. But after going 4-2-1 last week, I finally got a chance to get off the island. And guess what I found out? The outside world's pretty cool. There's a lot out there to enjoy. So if it's all right with everybody else, I'm going to try and stay there for as long as possible.
Yeah, your emergence from the island during Thanksgiving week has to be perfect timing. I'm sure you're thankful to finally put your 7-week losing streak to bed.
I am very thankful, especially because there's really no Thanksgiving dinner on Loser Island.
I'm thankful I get to share this show with Anthony and Craig each and every week. Why? Well, they make me look like a genius.
Not possible.
Just look at my record. I'm also thankful Anthony's losing virus lasted just 1 week here on the show. The Wunderkind rebounded to go 5-1-1 against the spread last week to move 17 games over 500 for this season. Craig went 4-2-1 on the week, but trails me for the season title by 6 games. Anthony, well, you're still stuck under 500.
Look, we all know it's not about how you start, it's about how you finish. And after last week, I think I'm gearing up for a really good stretch run, and a stretch run that could include some great upset picks. You may remember a few weeks ago, I said no team from a BCS conference would finish the regular season undefeated. Well, we've got 2 weeks before the bowl start. That means I could have some pretty big upset picks in store for you guys, so pay attention to these picks.
All right, 2 days, 7 games, 7 picks. You ready to keep the winning going?
Let's do it.
All right, we'll open with a 4-pack of Friday games, and there's no better team to start with than the Oregon Ducks. Number 20, Arizona, travels to number 1 Oregon as 19-point underdogs. Oregon has had 2 weeks to think about its near loss to California, a game in which the high-powered Ducks scored just 15 points. That could be bad news for Arizona.
It could be very bad news for Arizona. Part of their bad news right now, though, is the way that they're playing. They have lost their last 2 games. They're not playing as well on defense. Also, a few weeks ago, I might have liked Arizona in an upset pick here, but not the way they've been playing. And you mentioned how Oregon struggled on offense last time out, 15 points, their lowest of the season. Their previous low had been 42. Why is that bad news for Arizona? I highly doubt Oregon's going to struggle 2 games in a row on offense. Day after Thanksgiving, at home, they're going to be fired up. It's all about the quack, quack, quack attack again. At least for this week. Ducks win 42-20.
Yeah, Arizona's not a bad team, which is why the 19-point spread is a little surprising. But with the Ducks having 2 weeks to prepare, and the fact the offense is going to want to put that 15-point performance in the rearview mirror, I'm going with an Oregon win, even with the huge spread. Oregon 42, Arizona 21. Next, we have Colorado traveling to number 16 Nebraska as 17.5-point underdogs. The Cornhuskers have become a team in turmoil, with Coach Bo Pelini taking heat for numerous rampages on the sidelines last week in a loss to Texas A&M, and rumors that quarterback Taylor Martinez quit the team. Martinez has attended practice this week, but his status for this game is up in the air. Can Colorado take advantage?
They might be, because as we found out, without a 100% Martinez, Nebraska is not very good. They were awful on offense. That's a big reason why they lost the game against Texas A&M last week. So if he's not ready to go, it could be an upset for Colorado. Colorado has won 2 games in a row since firing head coach Dan Hawkins. They're playing a lot better, and they need to win this game to make a bowl game. So there's a lot of added emphasis on this game. Also, it's the last time these 2 Big 12 rivals are going to meet. Nebraska's off to the Big 10, Colorado's off to what's going to become the Pac-12. So someone's going to win this game and get bragging rights for several years to come unless they meet out of conference. So I think Nebraska, though, will win a close game, 23-20.
Yeah, Nebraska's offense is hit or miss, and with the Buffaloes having that extra motivation that comes with playing a rival on national television, they should keep this game close enough to cover the big spread. Nebraska 24, Colorado 7. Number 3, Boise State gets its chance to move up in the BCS standings with a huge road game against number 19 Nevada. Boise State, a 14-point favorite, obviously needs to win the game to keep its championship hopes alive. But this one might be more about style points. Can the Broncos get the job done?
The problem for the Broncos is that it's a no-win situation for them. If they win a close game, people are just going to dismiss Nevada as not being that good, and they're not going to give Boise their respect. See what happened to TCU a few weeks ago when they won a close game. People piled on them even though they won the game. And if they win big, then people are going to say, oh, well, Nevada really wasn't that good, so it really wasn't that big of a win. All that really doesn't matter, though, because Boise's going to do what it does. It's going to win football games, and it's going to leave the talking heads to talk about how good they are. This talking head thinks they're pretty good and can compete with anybody out there. But Boise State, another big win, 48-17.
Yeah, Boise State could actually be playing for a spot in the national championship by the time this game kicks off, if they get a break or two in the early games. Although I don't think the Broncos will get that opportunity, I do see them finally winning a game in impressive fashion. Nevada is solid all around, but the Broncos need a big win, and they'll get it. Boise State 42, Nevada 24. Perhaps and here's Craig Carroll.
He's kind of like the relative who shows up in the middle of Thanksgiving dinner and ruins everything. Here he is again.
Speaking from experience, that's true. Except it starts at the beginning of Thanksgiving.
Okay, that's good to know.
This is Craig Carroll's statement. I'm going to read it right now. I had a pretty good week going 4-2-1. In trying to chase down Brad, I went out on a limb in a few games, and it backfired. But given the same games and picks, I would have only switched Army to Notre Dame, as every other upset pick either had a late lead or was tied late. So, as the season winds down, you will see me taking well-calculated upset picks in order to run down Brad.
I see, so he's just going to try and run you down and not pick with his conscience. I don't think that's a smart decision.
Oh yeah, congrats to Anthony for finally having his first winning week in forever. Enjoy it, because it's going to be another 10 weeks before it happens again.
I thought maybe he was going with some holiday cheer there, and then he soured on me. Oh well.
On to my picks. Oregon giving 19. Colorado getting 17.5. Boise State giving 14. LSU getting 4. Michigan getting 17. Oklahoma State giving 2.5. And for my game of the week, it's the Iron Bowl, as Auburn battles Alabama in a big rivalry game. This will be the toughest test for Auburn in its quest to get to the BCS championship game. I've gone back and forth on this one, but finally came down to going with the team with the best player, and that's Cam Newton. Auburn, a 4.5-point underdog, wins 28-24.
Interesting pick. He called it a rivalry game. Well, I'll tell you something about these two teams. Hate's not a strong enough word to describe the dislike between these two. And throw in the implications, Auburn trying to get to the national title game, Alabama trying to spoil it, and it's even juicier. In the end, though, I think the Tide are going to win this game. I think they're going to have enough defense to slow down Cam Newton and company, and their offense is going to exploit a weak Auburn defense. Look for Greg McElroy to hook up with Julio Jones a lot for Alabama on offense. Alabama wins 27-24.
Wow. Well, Alabama simply isn't the team it was last year and doesn't have the talent Auburn does. Home field advantage obviously is huge, but I don't see the Tigers losing before the national championship game, as quarterback Cam Newton can win games like this on his own. And he will seal his Heisman victory Friday afternoon. Auburn 31, Alabama 28. Switching to Saturday's 3-pack, we have one of the biggest rivalries in college football, as Michigan travels to number 8 Ohio State as 17-point underdogs. Ohio State needs a victory and some help to win the Big Ten, while the Wolverines would love nothing more than to eliminate the Buckeyes from the conference race altogether.
Yeah, the Wolverines would love to do that, but every game involving the Wolverines is the same story. Denard Robinson leads the dynamic offense, and the defense is absolutely atrocious. So I think Terrell Pryor and the Buckeyes are just going to carve up that defense, cruise to an easy win, put themselves in position for either a BCS at-large bowl bid, or, depending on what Wisconsin does, winning the Big Ten outright and going to the BCS that way. Ohio State 45-20.
Yeah, I thought long and hard about picking the Wolverines in the upset, but the fact Michigan is on the road takes that out of play. But that doesn't mean Michigan won't keep this game close with its rival. So, Ohio State wins, but the Wolverines will make the Buckeyes work for it. Ohio State 38, Michigan 28. Number 6, LSU takes on number 12, Arkansas as 4-point underdogs. Both teams have had close wins last week, but Arkansas was a lot more impressive than LSU, which barely got past Ole Miss. Now, I'm a little surprised Craig went with the Tigers, as I thought Anthony was the lone member of LSU's bandwagon. So, are you continuing the ride or jumping off?
Look, you can call out LSU and Les Miles all you want. I actually think you owe them an apology, because all they do is win. They're 6-1 in games decided by 7 points or less this season. 3 of those wins against ranked teams. Arkansas, 3-1 in games decided by 7 points or less, so they're pretty good. They also coming off an overtime victory. This game, this rivalry game, has gone to overtime 2 of the last 3 times. So what does that all lead up to? It's going to be a close game. And I'm sorry, right now, when it's a close game, I'm not going against LSU until someone can, so that they can knock them off and end their sort of miracle run or whatever you want to call it. LSU 24-21.
Yeah, what should come as no surprise, I'm going with Arkansas to knock LSU off the national spotlight once and for all. The Tigers' defense will have trouble controlling Ryan Mallett and the Razorbacks' offense, and the LSU offense won't be able to keep pace. Arkansas 28, LSU 20. Finally, number 14 Oklahoma travels to number 10 Oklahoma State as 2.5-point underdogs. This could be the biggest game in Oklahoma State history, as a win would clinch its first ever spot in the Big 12 championship game. But the Sooners could ruin the party Saturday night.
They could ruin the party. And you know what? This Bedlam series, as I call this game, it's really going to be Bedlam, because throughout history, Oklahoma State has been bruised and battered by Oklahoma. 17-7 the Sooners are all time against the Cowboys. But this year, Oklahoma State has a better team, and they're trying to clinch a spot in the Big 12 title game, get a possible conference championship, and a trip to a BCS Bowl. I don't think Oklahoma State's great season ends. I think they'll win again. They'll have enough offense and just enough defense. 40-30 Cowboys.
Oklahoma State has one of the best offenses in the country, and the Sooners are going to have a big problem keeping up with the Cowboys. Oklahoma State will win the biggest game in school history and clinch its spot in the Big 12 title game. Oklahoma State 33, Oklahoma 21. With that, we wrap up another edition of Brad Carroll's Game Day. Be sure to check out the print version every Saturday in the pages of the Bristol Press and New Britain Herald, on my blog at bradcarrollgameday.blogspot.com, and don't forget College Game Day Rewind exclusively on my blog. For Anthony, I'm Brad. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone.
And remember, folks, don't drive under the influence of tryptophan.